What's up, everybody? Welcome back to our channel, Morbid Injustice. As you can tell, we have changed our name. I have coffee with me. Hey, girl.
Hey,
How have you been?
I have been good. It's been a very busy Christmas season.
It's been super busy, super hectic, and for the both of us.
Yes, yes, there's not been a break.
Definitely not. And it's so weird being back on here. I feel like it's our first day again.
Right.
Mm. Well, we hope everybody had great holiday, a good new year. We missed you guys. We definitely are gonna get back on, doing the videos again and all of that good stuff. We have a lot coming up that we need to start working on. And this case, as everybody is talking about, um, I know Coffee has she didn't know that I was looking at it because I was kind of off during Christmas, but she was, watching the news presses and all that stuff. So she was looking at it at the same time as me, and we started speaking about it the other day. Last night, I was watching a bunch of like YouTube videos, and I was just like, like
Yeah, we
it's
really
something.
hadn't spent a whole lot of time discussing the case together. Both of
Yeah,
us did sort of our own thing with it. And then when we're discussing it, we decide that, even though we don't usually do cases that are mainstream happening right now, um, just because for me, I personally don't want to put out stuff that can't be backed this early in an investigation.
that's
You
where
know,
I was coming from. I thought we were gonna wait until later, but I'm just like social media and the rumor mills are running in overdrive with this case. Like it is
they
very
are.
disturbing.
And what's sad is that the police department has done exactly what any responsible police department should be doing.
Yeah.
They've been investigating, they've been working under the scenes. They haven't listened to my side, his side, the middle. They've just done their investigation.
Yeah.
And believe that they're going to have a successful completion to this. I don't think we're anywhere close to um, coming to the end of this case. So I do want to be careful with what we present here, because there has been like rampant from day one.
It is crazy to what I have heard and what I have seen, and everything that we're gonna speak about is what we've heard from, like press conferences. I know that I didn't even read the affidavit. Um, I but and then of course when we give our opinion or our, what you guys will know it's our opinion and we're not stating it as a fact. But everybody needs to be careful. This is brand new. This family is going through hell. They just lost their loved ones. A baby is involved that just passed from this. Like it's really sad.
And
And
a baby that the first time they're going to get to see is going to be in a coffin.
yeah,
That strikes hard. I don't care who you are. These people, none on either side, right, wrong, or sideways, have
yeah,
not gotten to see this baby take a breath. And now they're going to bury him. That should reach people's hearts.
it should. I want to bring up a little backstory on Savannah and Matthew. It's not a lot, but it's just how they met. Savannah, she grew up in the San Antonio area with her mother and her brothers. Um, Actually, I think it was a year ago, her brother was 15 and he was brutally murdered um, at just 15 years old. And Savannah, and that's a whole different, topic, but the court inside the court was very messy. I haven't seen the videos. Have you seen the videos of
I
the trial?
have seen the videos. Like I said, I really, this baby, broke my heart.
Mhm.
And in fact, they're all babies. She was 18, he was 22.
Yeah.
Um, they're babies.
Yeah. Um, so Savannah met Matthew in school. She was just 15 years old and Matthew was 4 years older. The relationship was like on and off, but they finally decided to move in with each other and then she got pregnant. They would always end up back with each other. There were charges which we'll talk about later, but they loved each other. Um, we can go over what the family has said, after she
Right.
became pregnant, and you can just tell they both loved each other very, very much and were excited for the baby to come. So they met in
And in
school.
my opinion, I'm sorry,
Oh, go
but in
ahead.
my opinion, I do believe that Matthew was trying to turn over a
Hmm.
new leaf. As hard as that is, I do believe that they were trying to find a way to live a better life.
Yeah, and just like his stepfather said, and even his brother after he got out, he was supposed to register in those classes, but he started. I think his brother wrote this on social media. I hate not being on the computer so I can pull this all up, but he really changed and turned around for Savannah. And everybody saying the abusive thing and all of that, the domestic violence, but he was making a change and with the other stuff. So, and for the people that are saying this is Matthew's fault because of what he did and I don't do that. Please don't do
Yeah,
that.
because she was, and this is not anything against her. This was the lifestyle they led,
Hmm.
and right, wrong, or sideways, nobody deserves to die,
No,
especially in this way.
exactly.
Um, you know, did you finish your little paragraph?
Yeah, and I was gonna start on what the
The
22nd.
21st.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah, she was last seen what on the 22nd.
No, they were last seen because she was scheduled to be induced on the 23rd
On the 23rd, yeah.
at
And
6:30.
mhm.
She was last seen at 2 o'clock on the 21st by her family. And
Okay.
then about 10 o'clock or about 11 o'clock, I don't know exactly. I can't remember what time. The neighbor said they heard a
Screaming.
disagreement between Savannah and Matthew.
Yeah.
Um, Now we know, uh, you know, there was a lot of back and forth between the families.
Mhm.
Her family was obviously really upset, and they were angry. And, you know, when you're angry like that, when you've got a boy that has put his hands on my daughter before,
Mhm.
I can understand how you focus on him.
Yeah.
But there was no evidence to go along with those accusations. And then now we obviously know that there was no weight behind that.
Yeah.
It's not what happened. It's plain and simple that somebody outside of their circle um, did this for whatever reason.
Yeah.
But um, it, it was definitely in the very beginning very volatile between the two families. The father had went to Leon County and filed a missing persons report. The mother of Savannah went to San Antonio and reported her daughter missing. Well, the
Mhm.
two never spoke. And then Matthew's mother started speaking out, and his brother started speaking out online. And of course, everybody online started going crazy, talking about why haven't they filed a missing persons report on Matthew, when in fact His father's missing report was actually filed before Savannah's mother's was. It was
Yeah.
just in separate counties, and they hadn't linked them together yet.
Mhm. And that, that shows, you everybody assumes until they even know anything, and it's
And
ridiculous.
that's why we want to be careful with how we're saying stuff and what we're putting out there as actual facts and what's my opinion,
Yeah.
because I'm allowed to have my opinion,
Mhm.
but my opinion should never be stated as a fact.
Exactly. And so after they've both been, reported missing, they confirmed with the hospital they never checked in, right, to the appointment.
Yes, yes,
Um,
she never made it to that appointment.
the I think it was the father, Matthew's father, that went to the apartment.
Actually, her mother went to the apartment first,
Okay.
and they had gained entry.
Mhm.
They went in, they seen stuff laying around.
A candle
Um,
burning, right?
yeah, they put the candle out, they shut the door, they locked the door, and they
Mhm.
left. Now, before they come back, Matthew's father comes. Now, in my opinion, and this is just my opinion, and you can take it for what you want, but everybody knows my family's background and what I've been through with my kids.
Mhm.
So if I go to, and I'm going to use my oldest as an example, if I
Mhm.
went to Ashley's house after I went and filed a missing persons report, and when I come into the house, because I'm breaking the door, yes, I am, because I'm mom, and that gives me some sort of right, and I will deal with the consequences later.
Yeah.
Like that's just, as a parent, that's where I'm at.
Mhm.
Like, I'm getting into their apartment. My youngest knows that I've broken into her door and woken her out of a dead sleep because she didn't answer me for 6 hours.
Yeah.
um, so I absolutely understand where he was at. So he breaks in the door. Now he knows that the police are going to come to the apartment. He's filed a missing persons report. When he
Mhm.
comes in, they say, and there hasn't been anything to prove this, but what I've heard is that there were guns and drugs, and that this stuff was all taken by his father.
Mhm.
Well, he was sort of expecting the police to show up. And I'm sure in his mind, he wasn't thinking that these kids were gone.
Yeah.
He didn't want them to get into more trouble because he obviously went to the police department.
Yeah.
Um, so if he gathered stuff up, I can absolutely understand why he gathered stuff up and took it.
I would have done the same exact thing, and I've told you, my mother-in-law did the same exact thing before. I've had to do the same exact thing before when there was a long story. I'm not even gonna, because they'll turn, twist everything. But you, at that moment, you don't, you're you're the one that, if they do come back, you're gonna be the one basically like, oh, I just got all these charges put on our loved one, and they're not
And
even.
they're just starting a family. The
Yeah.
complications that would
Exactly.
go along with that
Exactly.
are horrible. You
Yep.
know, um, and you don't want to do that to your child, unless there's just no other way around it. You know,
Exactly.
which we're going to go into a situation here later on where there's no other way around it.
Yep.
Um, but I do believe that anything that the father took from that apartment would have been handed over when they find out they're gone.
I guarantee it. And also the father, when see, I don't want to get too ahead, but when Matthew he went to jail for the assault. He told them, like, to keep his son
Mm-hmm.
in jail. So it's not like
Yes, the
he
father really is my spirit animal. Like he
yeah.
absolutely, I'm very harsh on my kids. I want
Yeah,
them to do the best. Even when they mess up, I don't stop loving them, but I'm not going to protect them at all costs either. I'm not going to try to complicate their lives if they haven't done anything, though. And by my opinion only, what he probably took out of that apartment was stuff that would complicate their lives.
exactly. So yeah, I would do. Alyssa, go inside. It's cold. I would do the same thing. You know. So I think we all would. So for anybody that wants to drag him as well, because there's so many people everywhere. Just it's hard to
Well, and
see.
like I said, it's funny because, and I've told you this, and once again, this is my opinion,
Uh huh.
but the way this case started, if it hadn't come out, if the murderer hadn't been so sloppy with all of this,
Yeah.
I could have seen this case 13 years later with the two families accusing each other and
Oh yeah.
um, the case going nowhere if the police department had wanted to focus on one person or another person, you know,
Mm-hmm.
instead of following the evidence, which obviously they have.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's the police department, I think, is doing a fabulous job. Like, they are not letting all this outside back and forth. And I'm hoping that now the two families will come together and um, start healing, because that's all that's left now. Did you leave me? Nope, you're here. But it's definitely a sad case.
Sorry, I don't. I got muted by accident. I don't know how. But yeah, I mean, and that's why it's like, how long is all this going to go on social media? You know, when I when we first spoke about this, I was like, there's no way. You know, even when the brother spoke out, I'm like, he did not do this. This is gang related. This is this is personal, but it's also gang. Like, I knew something, and even with the two people that they arrested already. Well, we'll get to that, but um the people can't keep dragging this on and on and on. It's like the police already did what they were supposed to, and the people are arrested. I'm sure that if anything, if anybody more needs to be arrested, they will be quickly, because they're doing a very good job. um so I don't know why the internet would want to drag and keep dragging on. The
I don't
family,
know.
they need
Let's
the
go
heal.
back to okay, we covered till the 23rd when she should have been induced and she
Okay, so
didn't show
then
up. And
they,
that is when everything really broke online.
yeah, they, they make the police group, the Facebook groups, the families, they reported them missing. Christmas Day, the police, they issue a clear alert, which is sent out for missing, kidnapped, or abducted adults that need immediate attention. Um,
And that was done on Savannah's behalf because she
yeah.
was already past her due date and now
Well,
she missed the induction.
that's the only reason, because I forgot when when Matthew's father went to report him missing, he said, "Can't you track my son's phone?" And they were saying the judge is not going to issue a warrant out for that because they are both adults. And he's like, "But Savannah's pregnant,
Right.
like,
And that was Leon County that he went to.
uh-huh.
So, on Christmas Day, her family got San Antonio
Yep.
to issue the clear alert.
Mm. So they said Savannah, she was 5'1", brown hair, brown eyes, might be in a gray 2013 Kia Altima. Um, and then later on that day, that's when the police uh tried to enter the park. Why did it say when I was reading that the police tried to enter the apartment that day, but they weren't successful? If the door was kicked down, or was
Um, because the dad put the door back in place. Now I don't know why the police weren't successful.
Yeah.
Um, but once again, I didn't read that part. I don't know how I missed that, but
I
regardless,
I was listening. I got that from 10 to Life, but she was reading through like through the what's it called?
the
Um,
affidavit
yeah. Yeah,
of, yeah, the arrest papers. Um, I read that pretty closely. I just don't know how I missed that, but I could have. Um, because it's the ending of the affidavit that I really got stuck on. Just because it's the most recent rumor that I'm seeing going around in the groups. Um, but I will get there. So we're now at Christmas Day.
yep, they
Um,
do the clear alert, they, you know, doing all that.
they haven't been heard since the 11:30, whatever time the neighbor heard the argument, which in my opinion was probably them having some sort of a disagreement on whether she was going to go with him or not.
And I agree
Um,
with you on that. My opinion is the same thing because, they were later on seen, I think that was the next morning, seen getting into the Cadillac.
actually, that was not true. There's no evidence that they've ever been. They were killed the night of the 21st.
Okay. Well, yeah. Okay. That makes sense then. So you think that he was going to
I think
go?
that's just one of those rumors that were stated. And when I say a rumor, because I believe that one came from family,
It
but
did.
um, you don't know what people are telling the family, and the family is looking for anything to grasp onto.
Yeah.
Um, so when a family is in this time of turmoil, they're throwing everything that they hear out there, hoping that somebody can connect it. And regardless of what we think of Facebook groups and whatnot, these are ways that, like the police, when they're looking at this, I'm sure for those first few days they're thinking, okay, should we be looking for another car? But um, that's easy to then say, no, this isn't how it happened, because we know this, and this. Because I do believe the car was found when the 26th.
It was found the 26th. It was found 3 miles away from their home. And yeah, they were both in the car. And that's when I think it was the sister-in-law that said she was found. Savanah was in the front, Matthew was in the back. And nobody knew if it was true or not. And then Ellie came out and they held a press conference.
And
And
there was a lot of rumors and nastiness that went along with that.
hmm
Because they had them tied up, they had them drugged, they had them, and a lot of people going back and forth on whether they were shot in the car, what they were doing, and none of that uh turned out to be the way they all thought it was going to be.
yeah.
Um, you know, the two people that we end up knowing were nowhere on the radar for all of these days.
Yeah, I mean, they were telling social media was calling. Wasn't there one guy I read about? They were calling his business, and he made a post on Facebook like,
Absolutely, absolutely. There was a girl that, and a social media presence that was putting out videos from her ring cam,
mm-hmm,
saying how, this other young girl and another group of young people were involved. And as we know, none of them were involved in, actually, law enforcement has said that there was no connection to any of them.
yeah,
So, once again, open discussion is great, but you can only take it with a grain of salt. This is not the thing that I think is most useful, especially in cases that drag out, is that the police know what they're looking for.
Yeah.
And I think that shortly after they found that car, I'm going to say probably they found it on the 26th, and I'm going to say probably by the afternoon of the 27th, they knew what they were looking for.
Yeah,
Um,
and we don't have, okay, so it was also the sister-in-law that received a tip from Facebook on the car. Am I correct?
yes,
Yeah.
yes. The
So
sister-in-law got the original tip, which sent her family out there, and her family called and told the police, we're going, you'd better come out.
yeah, and she's
And
blood everywhere. Oh my God. I
I
don't know how.
can't imagine the having to see
Yeah.
the aftermath of this. These are images that I know personally won't ever leave their minds.
And that's
Um,
what I'm saying. Like Facebook groups, they're good, but and that's why we really don't cover these cases that are, brand new and everybody's, because it's, you don't know what's real, you don't know what's, you can, people take with whatever and just run with it, and the family is still looking on, they're on social media. It's just sad. They have this vision, I mean, this picture in their head of their loved ones in the car, and then they're on social media, and it's a lot for them. I mean,
it
it's a lot.
is. It is. And like I said, on these cases that drag out, I really feel that these groups, and I'm going to give the perfect example, because on the 28th, the police department issue the first video
Yeah.
of uh, Savannah's car, Savannah and Matthew's car pulling into a deserted parking lot. Wasn't really deserted, but I did watch a video of somebody that walked through the entire apartment complex,
Hmm.
and it was quite a drive to get back to that back parking lot where they were found. Like, they didn't just pull right in the way it looks in that video. They
Yeah.
had to make several turns and twists to get
Hmm.
to that point where they're finally pulling in. Everybody says, well, dad was coming from one direction, Savannah and Matthew's car was coming from another, but the way that parking lot looked to me, both sides were open. So if dad was driving around looking for a suitable place and the son was driving around looking for a suitable place, they met up in the back. I see how that could happen.
Hmm.
Um, but in the video, we see them meet up. We see a man get out of the truck, and we see the driver of Matthew's car get out of the truck or get out of the car. And they're wiping things down, they're discussing something. But there were so many rumors, because then people went back to this group of kids that was originally who everybody thought did this.
Hmm.
Not the police, but how everybody on Facebook thought did this. Um, and they started going through her family, and they found a gentleman that looked a lot like the video and the guy in the video that gets out of the truck. So, did you watch the video of the truck and the car?
I did briefly. I was kind of in, and it was like 3 in the morning, and I was like zoning out.
Okay. Um, for me, I've watched it probably 50 times, because, and I've watched all the doctored videos that are on TikTok and on Facebook, where everybody's doing,
Yeah. Um,
slowing it down and speeding it up and highlighting it. I even seen where somebody turned it around and then tried to say it's a whole other video when obviously you can tell it's just a mirrored copy of the video that's already out there.
Hmm.
Um, but in that video, I do think, after watching it closely several times, and I stopped watching other people's videos. I went to the San Antonio Police Department's website and I got their actual video. And after watching that several times, it does seem like there's a towel that's throwing um to the what we now know as the father.
Yeah,
Um
that's what
I I absolutely do believe that in the coming days or weeks we're going to hear of somebody either speaking about it to the police or being arrested in it.
Well, I mean, the dad, he's been very, Ramon, his name is Ramon, the one of the suspects, and as he was walking, doing like they were doing the perp walk, he kept saying like, well, they kept saying that he was very like what he was speaking with police, like he was very
Right,
cooperative.
right, right. He was cooperating.
He kept saying, like it's one-sided. You don't know what's going on. Like da da da. And I feel like that if there was somebody else in there, it will be, yeah, like you said, it'll be known very soon.
Right, right. I say within days or weeks. I don't think it'll take them long at all to
Hold on.
decide whether they're going to
Okay, I'm almost done. Phoenix,
whether they're going to decide to do this or not.
yeah. Um, and the son who is 19, Christopher. Um, and this is a thing too, because I'm like, all these people are like cartel, like, you know, uh, my thing is just like the brother, he's still saying that it's somebody that knew him. It's somebody that knows him personally. This isn't just and he's still saying that. He was on TikTok yesterday, I think it was, that Ikmel. That's where I get a lot of my stuff from too, from Ikmel's channel. Um,
And I just don't know. I I don't know.
but
And
he thinks it's a setup, in my opinion, because gangs, just because he's in a gang, he's selling drugs and he's doing all these things, that doesn't make him a bad person at all. And in these gangs, you have to understand that, like, just because the son, we're not, I don't know, if he's in a gang or not, but the ones that they have and to go out and do all this dirty work and stuff for them, um, they don't have the tattoos. They look like normal people. They don't, they don't. A lot of them, they look like normal. Like he has long hair, right? He doesn't have any tattoos. He doesn't. You wouldn't really suspect him if you looked at him. Um. So in my
well, in
opinion,
my opinion, you can definitely tell that something was not clicking completely right there. But that's just my opinion. um
well, I don't. Ah! I think it's related to, you know, that in some sort of way. I'm hoping that we will find out, but
well,
um,
I will say this about that theory. You keep dropping me. I'm gonna get a headache.
I can't help it. I'm trying to charge this
I
because
get it.
Phoenix loves to use my phone 24/7.
But
So,
what I was saying was to go along with that. Um, we know from the affidavit and that they showed up according to Christopher. Now, what Christopher says, the police say, we know those gunshots did not happen the way he said.
uh-huh.
But Christopher says they came to his house and the car's locator shows them at the house at 12:50 or 11:50. It also shows that it leaves his house at 11:54. So all of this happened in 4 minutes. Um, that's a very short amount of time
I'm about to
not to
say
have
that.
something planned.
Yeah, it has to be planned because that's
You
4 minutes
took out 2 people in
in 4
4
minutes.
minutes.
And did what he did because if I what we talked about, that was true, right? With the down,
No,
oh,
no,
okay.
none of that was true. What was true
Was
was
the
that
shot
he
behind the ear.
was dragged. So I'm assuming, and this is completely an assumption on my part. Please don't repeat this as fact. This is only my assumption. Is
Hmm.
that he pulls up to the house and Chris jumps in the back seat. This is the only way this works for me. And as I say that, he had to have had this planned. He jumps into the back seat.
Well, before you say this, I do want to say also that on the 21st, uh, Matthew, he wrote that he just got his, stuff in and to, come shop with him.
Right.
So that goes along with, he probably, okay, so
Absolutely.
he had time to plan this. If,
Yes.
yeah.
Absolutely. I agree. And that's important because in 4 minutes, he shoots both of them. He pulls Matthew out, or Matthew's out of the car. According to his story, Matthew
Hmm.
gets out of the car and they fight for the gun. Um, and he accidentally shoots Savanah behind the right ear.
Accidentally shoots both. Wasn't it both behind the right ear?
Oh, hold on. He accidentally shoots
Oh.
Savanah behind the right ear.
Uh-huh.
And then there's another fight for the gun, and he shoots Matthew. Now, we know because the police say that that was a contact wound. That means that gun was laid directly on him when he shot him. And yes, that's supposed to be behind the right ear as well. That's why I think he got in the car. And I think that the surprise of Savanah getting shot um, stopped Matthew from immediately reacting, and that it was just too late because you're right there,
Mm-hmm.
and he holds that gun right against Matthew and finishes it.
It makes
In
sense.
my opinion. And if you're going to follow what I'm laying out there, then he would have to get out of the car, drag Matthew's body to the back of the car
Mm-hmm.
and put him in. Now, he's got to run around the car, drag him up in, because that's the only way this works. Because he's got to lay him in there, and then he drags him on in. Matthew wasn't a small guy. Matthew was 6'2", I think.
Mm-hmm.
So, he had to drag him the rest of the way in the car. Now, all of this happens in 4 minutes. He's in the car and he's back driving in 4 minutes. And Dad is on his way to the apartment building because they get there within 5 minutes to the apartment building. So if Dad didn't know, it's midnight. By all accounts, it's 11:54. And Dad gets a phone call from Chris and says, I need your help. And it only takes him seconds to get his shoes on and drive to the apartment. That
No,
doesn't make any sense to me. It
I'm
doesn't work.
telling you, this had something to do with the gangs, with the drugs. This is not no like random little self-defense. It was no, no. You had this plan. In my opinion, but I'm telling you, you called
And
on.
that's what I'm saying. What we're discussing here right now, this is all our personal opinions. There is absolutely nothing that says we're right, and we absolutely don't want to hear this discussed as fact anywhere.
Yeah, please. I mean, what we just everything else has been said by LE and has been talked about. We didn't really go over a lot because we aren't gonna, be here for hours. Or I do want to do a longer video and go over the affidavit and all that stuff. I just really wanted to do this because I know that Coffee has wanted to for a long time, and as well as I'm tired of seeing all the rumor stuff in the YouTube streets going crazy over this one case and turning it into a circus, just like the Idaho Four. Just like what? How many other cases do they do this? I mean, it's
Right,
really
right.
just heartbreaking to fucking see. And it's like, okay, you guys have the affidavit, you have the facts, you have the press releases, you have what LE is saying.
And
So
open discussions are great
yeah,
for cases that are cold, for
yeah,
cases that are years and years old,
hmm,
because those cases, law enforcement knows the piece they're looking for,
yeah,
and we don't know. But I do believe that Matthew and possibly his mother were in a couple of the Facebook groups. They joined, surprisingly, on the 28th of December, um, which was before anybody knew their name.
yeah.
So, that goes to show you that the people responsible for these crimes do like to follow and see what's happening with them.
They do,
So
and just
there
be
is a
careful.
place
Yeah.
for the open discussions. We just need to be careful and be aware that just because it's being discussed doesn't mean it's a fact.
Yeah, you can't take what, I love Ikmal. I respect his channel. He's like one of Ten to Life's, really good friends. They work together, um and a lot of his stuff is just open discussion, but he does bring up a lot of facts as well, but he'll let people know, hey, but some people they just take that and they run with it and then they go and it's just like, don't do
And
that.
it becomes this whole thing. It's sort of what started in the very beginning. Her mother said, Matthew had been known to hit her. There was charges filed a year before.
Well,
And
he was on probation. That's what I wanted to go. We didn't go over that. So in probate he was put on probation in 2021, March of 2021. And then in Christmas 2022, he was arrested for the domestic violence thing, and then he was put on probation. And then right before when he passed away, he was out on bond for like driving recklessly and for having a weapon. Um, but like I said, the family said that they were doing really good. They were doing really
yes,
well. That Matthew loved Savanah to death. He was happy about the baby. She was happy. She loved him. That they were doing really good, So I even though he has all those charges, it doesn't make him this horrible person. And he dragged her out, and you can't
no,
blame
because
him.
if you look at his Instagram photos and stuff, um, Savannah's in them. She's right there along with him.
Yeah,
Um, it's not like he pulled her in and made her do anything.
no,
This was
and
sadly
they're
their
young. They're
yes,
young. I
this was
would have gone with, I would
sadly
have.
a mistake that they should have been able to live through.
Yeah, yep. It's nobody's fault but the people that pulled the trigger, the people that were there, the people that helped cover it up. It's all on them. So putting the blame on Matthew, putting the blame on his family, his poor Matthew, especially his brothers and his family. Like I feel horrible because people are still, dragging them. I feel bad for both families, but
I do too. I feel like, and that's what I said. I hope now that the two families can come together and find some closure together, because they would have been the Fabian's grandparents, um, and aunts and uncles. And, you know, he deserves to have his family together, not divided and trashing each other on social media.
I know that this is really bringing this up. So when a body, when a person passes away and they're that far along pregnant, does their body like spit the
There
baby?
are, it's a uh, very rare occurrence that a body will have what they call a coffin delivery.
Oh,
Um, but that did not happen in this case.
oh, okay. I was
The
wondering about that.
coroner delivered the baby,
Oh,
and the baby is. I just was reading, and I can't verify it, but I'm reading that they're going to let Matthew have the baby at his funeral, which is coming up in the next day or so. And then they're going to bury Fabian with his mother.
that is so heartbreaking.
It is. It is. But kudos to her family because he deserves to have his son with him.
Yep.
And I thought that was it.
Kudos.
Like I said, I have not confirmed that, but that is what I had just read probably 30 minutes before we come on, that they're going to let Fabian be shown at Matthew's funeral. Matthew can't have an open casket. Um, so they're going to put Fabian in his own and let him be shown at Matthew's funeral. And then, as I said, he'll be buried with his mother.
Well, you guys, the police in this case, they have done everything well. We were usually the first ones to call them out. They have done an amazing job, and I just say let them do their jobs. Don't hop on these
Yes.
posts and you can have discussions, but also keep in mind the family is still on social media. They're just let the
And
police
stop
do their
stating
job.
things as facts.
Yes.
If you don't know something, there's nothing wrong with not knowing something.
Yeah.
You're allowed to have an opinion. State it as your opinion, but
Mm-hmm.
stop taking it all for fact.
Exactly. Remember, keep
Unless you've read it or heard it directly from the police department, nothing is a fact.
exactly.
Even the families make mistakes.
Yeah, even with the families, don't take what the families say as well and run because they could heard something. It's like to the telephone game. They still hear
Yes.
stuff, and then it's not their fault, but they hear stuff, and then they think because well, this is the
And
sister.
they're emotionally charged. I mean,
Yep.
there's an emotional aspect behind it. So yes, please don't hold it against the family, but yes, you can't absolutely say that that's the truth unless LE has confirmed it. We don't really know.
And in this case, Ellie has done multiple press conferences. They've done
Yes,
multiple, so everything's out. Everything's out.
and
There's no point in.
I do
Sorry.
believe in Texas that we're going to see a lot of this information come out as this proceeds.
Yep.
Um, I believe that, from what I'm reading, most of the judges allow cameras in the courtroom. A few don't, but I do believe that with such a national case, that we're going to see a lot of these court documents and stuff come out. They're going to want to reassure the public as well that they got the right people.
Yeah, and it's capital murder, right? And then the dad has also abuse of a corpse
The
charges.
dad is only charged with abuse of a corpse and another charge that's closely related to abuse of a corpse, tampering with evidence or whatever.
Wait, so abuse of a corpse, but I thought that didn't. So the thing that we talked about didn't happen. So wouldn't that be something like that? I mean, what is
Well,
abuse?
that's what's scaring me right now, and I'm hoping that there's going to be more evidence that's going to help the DA build a stronger case,
Uh-huh.
because from what research that I could find,
Uh-huh.
yes, Chris is getting capital murder charges. He's got 3 charges on him. He's got the capital murder, he's got the abuse of a corpse, and then he's got the second charge of whatever that is, tampering with evidence and whatever.
Yeah.
Where the dad only has those 2 lesser charges. And from what I have seen, and I haven't done a lot of research, so please, if somebody knows better, you can let me know that I'm wrong. But those 2 charges to me in Texas, um, for what I can see, is if they charge him 1 count for each person that died, that would be 3 charges. Um, he might spend 9 years in jail as it stands right now.
That's it.
Sadly, yes.
Let us know in the comment section if you know about Texas laws and how all that stuff goes. And also
Because
let us
he
know how you guys feel about people making, the circus coming and turning this case upside down. And let us know, your opinions, and send out prayers to the family as well. Keep them, in your prayers. And I think
Yes,
we
because there's
want
a lot of healing left to do.
yes.
You know, quit criticizing these families for what they've been through and just offer love and support. I mean, come on, guys. Um, Tell me that you didn't make some stupid, silly mistakes at 18 and 22.
Yeah. Let
Come
them
on.
breathe. Let them, just do better. And it doesn't help to also, watch all the craziness and go in there and comment. And it's just, I don't know, it's gonna happen. But people like drama more than, real life
Hmm.
things. So, but I don't know. Do you have anything more to say about the case?
I do not right now. I'm sure that at some point, hopefully not until we have everything together, we'll come back and revisit it. But
Yeah, I mean, when we
uh,
have like everything, and I think, like when court or
yeah,
later
yeah.
on, and we could
When
screen
there's
share.
facts out there that we can actually talk about, and see where this goes. I definitely don't want anybody to get all up in arms about me saying that from what my understanding, he's only going to have 9 years. But I also want to, see how this plays out, how they are going to do this. Because so far, the DA hasn't even, they've just got the basic charges.
Yeah, so we'll see. I bet more will be added. I bet, maybe there will be another person that comes. Who knows? But we should know, I feel like, soon. You
Right,
guys, we
right.
also
And
are, oh, sorry, go ahead.
go ahead.
No, I was gonna go into what we're gonna start trying to be back on our regular schedule, even if it's starting out once a week. We're gonna start coming on here. We do have the Atlanta child murders. Like, I don't know if you guys heard of all the children that died in Atlanta. Um, One of the family members, his name's Nicholas. We have like stuff coming up with him. There's another case that we're talking to the family with. So we definitely need to get started on all this.
And we're
Um,
also having some technical difficulties,
oh
so
my gosh.
that's definitely holding us back. Um, but as we are able to get those technical difficulties worked out, um, we'll try to do better.
Yeah, I mean, we'll get that part worked out. I mean, it just, and then during the holidays, it's just like a break felt good though. A break felt
Right,
really good.
right.
Getting off
I'm
the
feeling refreshed and ready to start anew. We have some personal packs that we're not gonna get distracted by all the BS that comes along with some of our cases.
yeah,
You know,
whatever. That was funny that you guys really thought that oh, I meant Savannah. Now I know what I said. Oh my god, I am
It just hit you how I thought that.
because when you just said that, it popped in my head, and I was like, "Oh wait, I didn't say something." Oh my
Right?
god. Okay, it just hit me. I'm sorry, but but yeah, and we
That's
miss
where
you
we're at.
guys. We miss all you guys too. So we'll be back hopefully on our regular schedule. Better things to come. We're not gonna be going back and forth with the BS anymore, and you know,
No, we're gonna do our thing, and hopefully everybody else can do their thing. The internet's a big wide space, and I don't see why there's not room for all of us.
exactly. I mean, and I wish that we, I wish that we wouldn't, have to be used for other people's content to have content. But if that is how it has to be, we're just gonna ignore it. So
Right, right. It
we're gonna
doesn't
have
matter.
we're gonna have a lots coming up, and um, we still got to get back on editing, like learning how to do all that. So thank you guys for still subscribing and being here. It's like we got monetized and then we just we disappeared.
Well, that's what I said. A lot of our technical difficulties started, and neither one of us are in a position where we can just go buy new technology.
Right. Well, it'll be here. Well, you have that, and then I think I just need a wire, another one. I don't know. It'll be fixed, you guys.
We'll figure it
And
out.
remember, we still have our memberships. We have one for Kyron that's $4.99. Anything that goes on there, like the $4.99 a month, it'll be for like flyers or something else. Like if we're gonna do something for a holiday, his birthday, to donate toys or whatever it is, that would go to that. And then we have ours. If you want to support us, it's $1.99. So
Right,
please
and help us get the technology even faster. That would be wonderful.
that would be amazing. But we love you all, and we hope to see you guys next week. Um, I don't know when, but we'll figure it out.
All right, sounds good, honey.
All right, girl. Bye.
Bye.